Hey everyone, it's Donna here from Donna's Creative Corner, and today I have 3 bodices for you. I'm going to say my usual disclaimer with bodices. Although they are usually the prettiest and heaviest beaded part of the dress, they're also the most difficult to work with because usually you have to cut around the appliques. You can't remove them from the satin because usually on the bodice the stitches that hold the beads on go through the satin. There is one exception to that in the 3 that I'm showing you today, and I'll tell you that one. I'm also going to put a link down below to a video that Liz Benavides did, a very good video on how to take apart a bodice. So go check that out if you purchase one of these bodices. First up, bodice number 1. It is a cream colored bodice with iridescent sequins. These are very iridescent sequins. You can see how shiny they are, and they really pick up the light and colors in them. This one has no sleeves on it. It's just the bodice, but it is covered with beads and sequins. I'm going to pan down, and then I'm going to come down up close so you can see. I always leave the zipper on in case you want to take that off as well and repurpose it. Let me come down so you can see. Beautiful beadwork on this. This is the Alençon corded appliques that are on here. Heavy bead clusters in the center of all the flowers on these appliques. You can see how it's really catching the light. It's definitely a cream colored bodice and appliques. The appliques are on a kind of a netting, and I'm not sure, but I think the whole net will come off as well. I'm not positive. On this one there's 2 layers of satin, so I didn't want to cut through the second one because I didn't want to damage anything, but those are all the appliques on the front to the top here. And then the back, there are satin covered buttons all the way down. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 of them that are missing the cover, the satin cover on it, but the rest are intact. The back is covered just as much as the front was in the appliques. All over down to these ones that are kind of hanging off the bottom down here along the bottom. So this is bodice number 1, and I am asking $11 for this one. These prices don't include shipping. I do ship international, so you'll need to get a price for me for, and all of these are weighed just under the weight for first class in the US. So shipping will be somewhere between somewhere around $3.50, somewhere between $3 and $4. Let me see that. Bodice number 2 has some very heavy beadwork on it. This one has some rows and rows of bugle beads, and I'll come down so you can see that. This is the kind of collar that goes up over the shoulders. There's bead appliques all on there. And it has this, let me pan down, comes down to the bottom where it's kind of hanging off the bottom here. Let me come down. This one is white with clear sequins on this bodice. It is also has the corded Alençon appliques. There's one there, and you can see the bugle beads, rows and rows of bugle beads on that. These leaves coming off. Gorgeous. Now the bugle beads look like they are slightly iridescent, but the sequins are clear. And then you come up and come all the way around the side over here. This one too is very shiny. And then at the center of the collar there's this applique rose with the pearls in the center of it, and I think this you could just snip and get this off to repurpose that. And then the appliques go all up this collar. And look at that flower there, covered in those little bugle beads. There's another one there. And it goes all the way around to the back. I'll show you the back in a second. So that's the front. And the back is probably even prettier on the back. These appliques, they have those really heavily beaded ones. There's the row of satin covered buttons going all the way down. And look at this applique here. One on either side that has this heavily beaded flower in here. And it goes up underneath that collar. Gorgeous. It's unusual to see that kind of beading on the back of a bodice. Usually the back is plainer. So this is bodice number 2, and I am asking $15 for this one. And lastly, bodice number 3. This one was kind of this bodice went kind of down the front of the dress. It has no sleeves, but it has beadwork around all the way around the edge of the neck and the sleeve entrance. I'm going to pan down because this one is a longer one, and this one is the exception to the norm for a bodice, because all I see on the back, oh no, I take that back. There are a couple of places where I see some bead stitching, but for the most part it's just machine stitching holding the appliques on, so you should be able to get most of this off without losing any beads and sequins. There may be a couple that you have to cut around to get it off. This has clear sequins. It has, well actually, this one has the white sequins on it, and it has those iridescent bugle beads on this one as well. I'm going to come down so you can see the detail on the appliques, and they come all the way down here. There's a good example of one. Here are the iridescent bugle beads going around the leaves, and these are the clear or the white sequins right there on the flowers. There's the iridescent bugle beads. And then I'm going to pan up so you can see just how much is on there. There are a lot of appliques on here. And around the top is a row of beads and those iridescent keep want to call them sequins, bugle beads. The beads are intact, but there are some places, like right there, there's some of the bugle beads missing around the edge. So the edge around here is not perfect. Let me flip it over so you can see the back. This one too has the satin covered buttons going all the way down. The zipper, oh, this one, the zipper is not intact. I cut through it by mistake. I didn't mean to. And the back is the same as the front. It is covered all the way in those corded alençon appliques. And then there's the beadwork around the edge. So this is bodice number 3, and I am asking $16 for this one. If you are interested in any of these bodices, as I said, the shipping is just under the weight for first class on any of these. If you buy more than one, you're going up to first class, and shipping's gonna usually double. If you're interested, the instructions on how to order are in the description box below. As they sell out, I will mark them sold in the description box below, so you'll know which ones are still available and which ones are not. And that's all I have for today. This coming weekend, I think I'm going to do the beaded wedding trims by the yard. I have a lot of that ready to go right now, so I'm planning to offer that this weekend. So stay tuned for that on Saturday morning. Thanks, and bye for now.